The Rachel Wade case is a chilling tale of obsession, rivalry, and tragedy, a modern-day cautionary story of how love triangles can spiral into devastating consequences. It's a story that gripped the nation, not just for its shocking outcome, but for the intense emotions and drama that led to it. Rachel Wade, born in 1990, was a young woman living in Pinellas Park, Florida. She was described as outgoing and independent, having dropped out of high school at 16 but later earning her GED. She worked as a waitress and lived on her own, paying for her apartment. Rachel was known for her flirtatious nature and had a history of dating multiple boys. The victim, Sarah Ludemann, was born on December 7, 1990, in Pinellas Park, Florida. She was the only child of Charles and Gay Ludemann. Her father was a cab driver, and her mother worked as a surgical nurse. Sarah's parents had waited 16 years to have her, and she was the center of their world. They had moved to Florida from New York, seeking a safer and warmer environment to raise their family. Growing up, Sarah was described as kind-hearted and bright. She excelled academically, earning straight A's and dreaming of becoming a veterinarian, a career that reflected her love for animals and her compassionate nature. Despite her academic success, Sarah struggled with low self-esteem due to teasing about her weight during her childhood. Before meeting Joshua Camacho, Sarah had never been deeply involved in the dating scene. Her life took a dramatic turn when she encountered Joshua at a local Chick-fil-A. He worked there, and their whirlwind romance began, marking the start of a series of events that would tragically alter her life. Joshua Camacho, the love interest at the center of this tragic triangle, was a smooth-talking young man with a stocky build and a reputation as a player. He was juggling relationships with multiple women, including Rachel, Sarah, and another woman named Erin Slothauer, who was reportedly pregnant with his child. Despite his questionable behavior, both Rachel and Sarah were deeply infatuated with him. The rivalry between Rachel and Sarah was intense, toxic, and ultimately tragic. It revolved around their shared romantic interest, Joshua, and escalated into a series of confrontations, harassment, and threats. Rachel worked as a waitress at Applebee's, and according to her, Sarah would show up there to taunt her. On one occasion, Sarah and her friends reportedly knocked over Rachel's tray, sang the song "Girl Fight" during karaoke, and mocked her. These incidents added fuel to the already volatile situation between the two women. Rachel, on the other hand, reportedly left Sarah voicemails saying things like, "I'm going to stab you and your Mexican boyfriend," or
"Please with me, Sarah. You and him both are dumb, psychotic little and I'm telling you now, I'm going to show you psycho."
The police were involved multiple times during the 6 months leading up to Sarah's death. Officers spoke to Sarah on at least 6 occasions regarding public confrontations with Joshua. Sarah also reported to the police that Rachel had repeatedly called her cell phone and left threatening voicemails. Detectives acknowledged that both women had made threats toward each other, but no significant legal action was taken to de-escalate the situation. The night of April 14, 2009, was the culmination of months of escalating tension between Rachel and Sarah, fueled by their rivalry over Joshua. Here's a detailed breakdown of the events leading up to the tragic murder. Rachel Wade spent much of the day feeling scorned and jealous. She had been waiting for Joshua to contact her, but he was spending time with Sarah, watching movies and playing video games. Rachel, frustrated by his lack of attention, sent him a text message accusing him of ignoring her because of Sarah. Joshua replied dismissively, saying, "That's right. I don't like you no more. Why don't you go home?" Rachel responded with, "No. I'll wait for her to go home." Meanwhile, Sarah was unaware of Rachel's growing anger. She had been out driving and later agreed to give Joshua's sister a ride to McDonald's. On her way, Sarah learned from a friend that Rachel was at Javier Laboy's house, a mutual acquaintance. Determined to confront her rival, Sarah drove to the location. Rachel, feeling threatened and angry, had armed herself with a steak knife earlier in the evening. Witnesses testified that Rachel had called Sarah and yelled, "I'm going to stab you and your Mexican boyfriend." When Sarah arrived at Javier's house, she saw Rachel speaking with Javier and their friend Dustin Grimes. According to Rachel's testimony, Sarah slammed on her brakes, nearly hitting her, and stormed out of the car with her fists flailing. Rachel claimed she acted in self-defense, stabbing Sarah in the shoulder and chest, one blow puncturing her heart. However, witnesses provided a different account. They stated that Sarah never got out of her car and that Rachel approached her vehicle and attacked her. After the stabbing, Rachel reportedly threw the knife over a neighbor's house and calmly said, "I'm done." Mortally wounded, Sarah managed to call Joshua to tell him what had happened. Joshua and Sarah's father rushed to the scene, but Sarah succumbed to her injuries at the hospital early the next morning. Police arrived at the scene and began questioning Rachel and the witnesses. Rachel reportedly started crying when she was informed that Sarah had died. Hours later, Rachel was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. She was booked into the Pinellas County Jail with a bond set at $500,000. Rachel remained in custody throughout the trial.
The next piece of information that you need to know is that she is dead.
Oh my God.
Okay. She died as a result of these stab wounds that she had at Northside Hospital.
I didn't know what any of this happened. I just wanted them to finally leave me alone.
All this over Josh?
Rachel's trial began on July 20th, 2010. The trial lasted 3 days, from July 21st to July 23rd, and featured testimony from witnesses, including Joshua Camacho, his sister, Dustin Grimes, and Javier Laboy. The prosecution focused on Rachel's history of threatening Sarah, particularly the voicemails she had left. These voicemails were played in court. The prosecution argued that these voicemails demonstrated Rachel's intent to kill Sarah and painted her as a jealous and vengeful woman. Witnesses testified about the events leading up to the stabbing, with conflicting accounts of whether Sarah had exited her car or whether Rachel had approached and attacked her. The prosecution's witnesses, including Joshua's sister and Dustin Grimes, stated that Rachel had approached Sarah's vehicle and stabbed her. Rachel's defense argued that she had acted in self-defense under Florida's Stand Your Ground law, claiming that Sarah had been the aggressor. The jury, composed of 5 men and 1 woman, deliberated for just 2.5 hours before finding Rachel guilty of second-degree murder. On September 3, 2010, Rachel was sentenced to 27 years in state prison. The judge stated that he believed Rachel had intended to kill Sarah. Rachel maintained her claim of self-defense and later appealed her conviction, but her appeal was denied in February 2012. Rachel is currently incarcerated at the Florida Women's Reception Center and is not eligible for release until 2035. Her case has been widely discussed in the media and has been featured on several television shows, including Dateline NBC, Deadly Women, and Snapped. Rachel's case serves as a stark reminder of how unchecked emotions and toxic relationships can lead to irreversible consequences. It's a story that leaves us questioning the choices and circumstances that led to such a tragic end. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you think the outcome was just, or does it leave you with lingering questions? Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more true crime stories.